Oh yeah, Morton.
Oh, Mutara.
Fucking happy birthday, brother.
Thank you. Thank you.
I like that, what you said, that like getting rid of the idea of who you are. And like, I just had today is like, I had this idea that like, or that thought that I don't have to be a coach. And it was like, oh, you know, I don't have to be. So it was very nice. And then the second thought was like, I probably can't help it that I will still do something like that, you know, but I don't have to be one, which is kind of nice, kind of relaxing to know.
Life unfolds, we have an experience of it, and part of that experience is boxing us in somehow or another. That's happening, and that's part of it. And then sometimes I accept it, and other times it's like, well, that's not necessarily how or who I want to be or go forward with being. So it's like, it's this magic comes when there's this openness, you know, when we're tuned into that openness that anything really is possible. And you know, a reality check for me today on my birthday is like all my friends is telling me how much they love me and accept me for who I am. And when I don't have a very strong particular identity that I'm strongly giving out or like saying or expressing, you know, but still I'm me, and that's more than enough. You've been watching Mujiji a lot lately. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on what appeals about his way of pointing towards this. All right.
Your true self is really no self, and that is what Sydney Banks meant when he used universal consciousness as a metaphor for who the observer is. I mean, there are probably 8 billion personas in the world, but none of them are actually real. There are only one observer, and that is the universal consciousness. And we have our thinking to kind of cover up the simplicity of how the world is working, because the world is working is so easy, and it's so easy for you to do whatever you want to do. It's really you really are a god, so you can really very easily do anything you would like to do. But you got it kind of like cover up a friend, which kind of is not your friend at the same time. Many people, Moji, call it your ego. Many spiritual gurus call it your ego. You can call it a part of your thinking. The thing is, it seems like the world were created by a coincidence 4.5 billion years ago by something called the Big Bang. And technically that might be right. But really the only thing that's going on is that everything is created right now, and there is only one moment. And this can be seen actually when you have those moments where you're so present that you're absent of thoughts. The more you get caught up in your mind, or the more you will buy into illusion, the more you get caught up in your mind. And your mind will tell you anything, you know. As I said last time, one day it will tell you are enlightened and you will walk around in bliss, and it will tell you to walk up to all the girls because all the girls loves you. And the next day it will tell you that you don't know shit and that nobody likes you and that you should go and
both of them will appear just as real to you in that moment.
Once you had at least one of those experiences, truly being in this oneness, there's really difficult for your thoughts to make you buy into anything afterwards. For me, before I struggled a bit. Like I got like suddenly insecure, or my thinking was like, suddenly now you got to be insecure. There's a lot of people listening to you now, and there's a lot of attention on you. And when my thinking would always fuck it up for me when I had a lot of attention. But I mean, being in this place, it's so weird because I know in a deep level that I'm actually our God, even though I'm having this human experience. So I mean, and this is just my thinking going on. And this thinking is just from this world. It's really nothing. It's really nothing of a big deal, you know.
For what I've noticed after realizing that we're actually the creator and the created, all of a sudden when I'm sad, and I have been sad lately, I've been sad lately. It's like all of a sudden I can find myself, kind of like find, if that makes sense, find myself in a sad moment, being really, really okay with being sad. And I can call it a release, but in fact, another way of explaining it is just saying that in the next moment, I had a different sensation, you know? That's what happens, you know? Life hands us different experiences, different emotions, different So, but when we don't, you know, when we have an octopus glued in our face, we can't see that it's an octopus, you know? Because you can't see it until after the fact, when you actually look at it, and or, you know, go and be like, oh, dang, okay. Kind of pulls the rug under the weight of all of those challenging moments, because a challenging moment is nothing else than a challenging moment. The next moment, there's no correlation between one moment and the next moment.
Yeah.
This understanding is like the awareness of okayness. Tim is here, just got a show.
We got TrustBox members in the house.
Yeah. The little like spooky, tricky, crazy, cool thing about this is that this is no like, there's no like before and after. Like there's really no like, there's no application, you know, there's no technique, there's no like, okay, you apply this in your life and then you live, and then you are happier on a constant basis. It's more like this last half hour, you know, we've all felt it. It's more like that. It's like, you know, it's like, because insights will hit you anytime, any day, anywhere, at any point. It's just, you are an insight. You are this. You are me. Is, you know, this, whatever you're watching, it's just you're projecting and experiencing at the same time what you're experiencing right now. So I have nothing to do with it. Even though it might look that way. Chris has nothing to do with it, even though it looks that way to me all the time, you know. DJ has not the same thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just, but being in this conversation, apparently, you know, it's attractive to me and apparently to all you guys as well. So, and that's okay. And I'm going to be on stage in Finland in a week, and I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. But every time I'm insecure about what I'm going to be talking about on stage, I always go back to, I lean on the fact that on stage has no correlation with off stage, you know?
It makes it a little difficult to go and hold on to that all the way to the next week. And then have that like a pack, you have it in your backpack and you pull it out so you're ready then. You know, I wish it was like that sometimes, but apparently it's even simpler because your innate wisdom will show up and give you exactly what you need at exactly that time if you just are open to it, let it happen. If you're preoccupied by ruminating in your backpack and trying to find a solution that you thought you had a week ago, you're going to be ruminating in the bag and not listening to the wisdom that's already there.
Why do almost everybody, including me, despite the fact that I know, carry the previous moment with me to the next one, and then next one?
Because it's seamless.
Yeah.
You're experiencing each. If there was a gap between each moment you were able to perceive, it would be easier to point it out. But there's not. You're having a seamless experience of life from moment to moment. It is what it is, and then there's everything else is after the fact, and that is what we think it is.
In the end, this is all just like ping pong words. There's an formless energy. There's a well-being. You were born from nature, dude. You are nature. You're gonna flourish no matter what, because that's the nature of life unfolding. That's just you are blown out in space just like everyone else of us. You're born from nature, from life force. So there's this life force behind our words, behind this conversation, underneath it all, that's working. So there's this vibe. I call it a vibe. You can call it anything you want, but when you're vibing, you can have two similar conversations with the same exact words, and they have two different vibes. It's just like, that's what we're pointing towards. We're pointing towards the formless energy, the life force that is always giving you exactly what you need in any given moment.
You watch a movie and the main character get in trouble, and you completely are like all tensed out, hoping that it will turn out great in the end. And if you think about it, like, how can it really matter to you, the one sitting in the couch just looking at it? Like, it can't really matter to you in any way, but still we want to get caught up, as I say, get caught up in this losing the word, but we want to get caught up in what's happening in front of us. And we also we kind of almost forget that it's a movie also, which makes it more real.
I just want to say it, for anyone who's watching this at any time, just like how fast it can work and how willing people are to connect that are like-minded. It's inspiring. It's cool.
All right. Namaste.
Namaste.
It was a great session.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.